Hello, everyone. It's great to be here. And thanks for the introduction. How many of you are sitting with a mobile phone? Good. That's a good start. I feel that Ericsson is relevant in that setting. My name is Jenny Lindqvist. I'm heading up Ericsson in Northern and Central Europe, and these are 17 markets ranging from Greenland, Atlantics, and the Nordics, the Baltics, and Central Europe, of course, including Poland. And Poland is a very key market for us. Not only is Poland on the forefront of tech development, including 5G, but Ericsson also has a very good business momentum here. We have very strong capabilities, having done successful trials with new technology, including 5G. And we also have a very strong R&D center focused on 5G and also 5G production here in Poland. So it's a very key market for us, and I'm very proud to be here today to speak to all of you. I will talk about the industry in change, the tech industry in change, but also why it's so important that we handle and we have courage to manage this change in a positive way. This is our switching on 5G. Tech industry is all about change. And technology is changing not only the way we communicate, but also the way we live and even the way we think. Our mobiles are a very integral part of the way we live today. We're always connected. And as Jacob said in the introduction, at Ericsson, we enable this connectivity. Our founding idea was to make communication available for all, and we can easily say that this has changed the world and the way we live and act and communicate today. When 4G was launched some 10 years back, no one thought about streaming video on your mobile phone, or no one thought about 80% of e-commerce being handled on your mobile phone, or that we would order taxis and food even on the mobile phone. So 4G launched, and that was a technology platform upon which we had a lot of innovation that enabled all of these services and applications for us consumers. And now we are in a fantastic time. We're at the brink of the next technology revolution, and this will be 5G. And 5G, if 4G was all about consumers, 5G will be all about the enterprises and society and the shift that we will see there. For us, we see as consumers that 5G will enable 10 times faster internet, it will be lower latency, and we will be able to have faster, better internet on the phones, but also AR, VR, AI as a part of our everyday lives as consumers. But on the enterprise side, we will see an even bigger shift. Soon, and we already are seeing it using 5G, we will have connected ambulances with HD video, where doctors can remotely from the hospital examine the patient over 5G, also giving the ambulance prioritized traffic to make sure they get to the hospital in time. We even can perform remote surgery using 5G because the speeds and the capacity are so big and the latency is so short. We will have fully automated factories with 0% faulty products. And we will also, within very short, have autonomous cars on the street using 5G. 5G and IoT, we are convinced, will spark dramatic change. And change, we believe, is a very, very positive thing and absolutely necessary in the tech industry. But change can also meet resistance. It can be tough. I joined Ericsson some 9 years ago after having worked in complete other industries, such as pharmaceuticals and financials. 4G was just being launched at that time, an eternity ago, and of course that was a huge shift for the industry at the time. I started off in our global IT sales department, selling IT solutions to mobile operators. I moved to Indonesia and Australia, selling these big outsourcing deals that we worked with the mobile operators. And after those 2 first job rotations, I felt it was time for me to take on a much bigger role. My first line manager role and key account manager role in Ericsson. And that was when I first encountered, for me personally, what we call the broken rung. Has anyone heard of this concept before? Then I'll introduce to you what it's all about. Did you know that women are much less likely to get hired or promoted to a line manager role? Actually, statistics show that for every 100 men that get promoted or hired to a manager, there are only 72 females getting hired or promoted to line manager, even though we have the same experience and the same background. And this is what researchers called the broken rung. And this gender difference is so big that researchers also say this is the one biggest hurdle for females to take on leadership positions, both in the first line manager position, but also in the next steps. Because what we see is that when we fail to get line leaders as females in the first step, of course, statistically, the percentages, as you see, go down over time. So the blue one showing the female in the first entry level, and then, of course, over time, with the bases being smaller, we have a decreasing percentage. So we've talked a lot about the glass ceiling, but what we also want to really focus on is to make sure that we have females coming into this very, very first line manager role. And my own experience then, wanting to aim for this first line manager position as key account manager. Key account manager positions in Ericsson are big. And in my head, and in my perception, you needed to have many, many years with Ericsson. You needed to be an engineer. You needed to have a very, very deep technical know-how of the products and solutions. You needed to be a great negotiator, definitely not risk-averse, and certainly above 30 years of age, and preferably a male, and preferably tall as well. And I was neither. I was young. I looked young as well. I was not an engineer, have a business background. I didn't have the in-depth understanding of the products or solutions. In my mind, I was not considering myself a great negotiator, and I was female. So I was sure I wasn't going to get the role. And luckily for me, this recruiter and the manager did not have all of these preconceived biases in his head. So I got the role. In hindsight, this is the limitations that we put on ourselves as well. The limitations and the prerequisites that we set ourselves as limitations in our own heads. So now we come to the courage part. Courage, by definition, to be brave and confident enough to do what you believe in. So I got this key account manager role, my very first line manager position, and I disregarded these misconceptions in my head, and I had the courage to take on the role. It was a very tough one. It was a tough situation with the customer. It was the lowest score globally on customer satisfaction, and we also had a very, very difficult financial situation with the customer. So we needed to change. We needed to change the way we work with this customer. We needed to change the way we listened to the customer, and also we needed to change the way we did business with them. So I set out this plan, what I believed we had to do. It took a lot of courage, and at many times I was very uncertain if this was really the right change to do, if this was going to lead to the result that we wanted. Some decisions were tough, like exiting part of the business, doing things in a new way, or even changing part of the team. But it was also fun. It gave rewarding results. We had an increase both in the customer satisfaction after 2 years, and also in the financial results. And as a third effect, we also had much happier employees. So the employee satisfaction also skyrocketed. It was much more fun to work in this workplace. So be bold and confident. Be yourself and really trust in yourself. You will make it. I always saw courage in 3 different ways, in my leadership and in my manager's leadership. Try courage is the first type of courage. And this is the courage it takes to try out something for the first time. Taking the first step takes courage, and you might fail, you might get it wrong, or you might do something absolutely amazing. I have been courageous in taking on new opportunities. I have lived in 7 countries. I have worked in more than 20. I became, at the age of 27, a partner of a junior consulting firm. I became line manager early on, and I've had and taken on new, larger roles in Ericsson after both of my parental leaves. And in all of these positions and opportunities, I have dared to take the courage and drive change. Not always making things the way they have been made before, but always in a direction that I and my team have believed in. And this is how we have achieved results. We tried, and sometimes we failed, but more often we actually got to where we wanted. We succeeded. So that's trust. Try. And trust. As a leader, you will need courage to delegate, to empower the team, not to micromanage, but to secure that you have an empowered team that you show trust in. And if you trust your team, you will also see very soon that you get trust back. And thirdly, tell. Why do the slides? We have them on one side, that's good. Thirdly, tell. This is about speaking openly and speaking with conviction about the things that matter to you, the things that you believe in. This can be scary, especially when you're in a business setting and you need to convince people and talk openly about your beliefs and where you think that the company or the group needs to head. It could also be about providing feedback, both positive feedback but also constructive feedback to your team. And thirdly, to speak up. No matter if you agree or if you disagree, to secure that you speak up and that your voice is heard. And also as a leader, to secure that when your employees speak up, that you listen, that you take action. So these 3, for me, very key in courage. And all of them we work very actively with at Ericsson. Finally, again, it's fantastic to be here. It's so great to see all of you females already in the tech industry. We need more courageous females to drive the change that we need. And in Ericsson, we're very proud ambassadors to driving diversity and to driving talent management. It's an exciting business. The technology will continue to change the world. And with change come a lot of opportunities. So be courageous, make use of these opportunities, dare to drive change, to challenge, be brave and confident, and make sure that you do what you believe in. That will drive the results that you want. Thank you very much.